basics of IPR. Of late, it has become very, very important to know about intellectual property rights because all of us have lots of creations and we want it to be protected. As simple as that. So before I move on to the real topic of it, we need to understand what we are going to cover exactly in this session. And we can go to the third slide, the next one, the next one. Here we are going to cover about what exactly is IPR. We want to know the meaning of it. And then we need to understand what are the types of intellectual property and what would happen if there is an infringement. Because suppose our rights are evaded or if it is infringed in the legal language, then what are my remedies? That is very important because creating a property and protecting it is very, very important. So these are the few important things that we are going to cover today. Now the next one and the coming one. Now first, before going on to anything, let's understand what exactly is IPR. That is intellectual property right. Now the next slide. See, anything that you create out of your intellect, that is anything created out of your knowledge, is called as intellectual property. When does it become a property? The minute you get a legal recognition on that and the minute that becomes your right. So that's all is your IPR, intellectual property right. The name itself says everything. What has been created, because it becomes your property, you have a right over it. As very simple as that one is. So there is nothing much to bother about it. Now, there are few things that we need to understand under that. Now, the next slide. It says something, and that's my property. The first thing that we need to understand is I've given very clearly, I've underlined it there. And anything that is created out of your mind, for that you get exclusive legal rights. I've underlined those words there. Exclusive legal right. Now, what is this exclusive legal right? In the same slide, I'll be explaining that. So you need to wait for just 1 or 2 minutes so that you get to understand. First is you have to understand that it's a right. The minute you say you have a right, it is being protected by the law. That is why it is legal right. Now, why did I say it's an exclusive right? Now I have used one more word there, that it is a negative right. What is it? What do you mean by a negative right? It says it prevents the others from using it without your permission, so that you don't have any worry of the competition. Now you come back to the second line. That is why I said it's an exclusive right. What do you mean by exclusive right? It says that very clearly, I and only I can use it. Others cannot use it. Negative right, because when I say I have created it and I have made that as a property and I have a legal right over that, the minute I say all that, I prevent others from using it, and at the same time I'm saying that without the worry of others infringing on my right. Here it is the competitors. Why it is competitors? As we go on, we'll understand. I don't want others to take my right or whatever I have created and use it. So I am considering them as a competitor here. So without any worry of competition, I'm going to use it. So that's why it's called as an exclusive right. Now, when I'm saying it's an exclusive right, now you might have a next question in your mind. So it's going to be permanent, is it? The answer is given in the very next line. The intellectual property system is duration specific. That is, it's only protected for one particular time. Now you might ask, what is the time? Because immediately we want to know what exactly is the time limit. For each one of them, you have different timings. For example, for patent, it is different. For copyright, it is different. For industrial design, it is different. So we'll come to that slowly. Now here, first we have to understand is anything created out of my intellect, which becomes a property, because the law gives me the right to use it, not permanently, only for certain time. And remember, I am asking others not to use it. That is why it's called as a negative right. Here, it is my right. So I'm negating others. I'm telling others, no, you don't have any right. So the competitors do not infringe on my right. And I use the word, it is not perpetual and it is not absolute monopoly. Now again, I may have to stop here because when I say monopoly, it becomes sometimes it can be permanent. But here I'm very clearly saying it is not forever and it is not a monopoly. But despite that, for some period, it is a monopoly. We'll leave it there because when we're talking about the duration of each one of them, we'll understand. So for that particular period, it will be a monopoly. But after that, it belongs to everybody in the world. So your intellectual is largely a territorial right apart from the copyright. Now, what is this territorial right? Suppose I say I have a patent. It is limited only to India. Suppose I say I have a copyright. It is universal by nature. Why did they say universal by nature except copyright? because your books might be available in America, your books might be available in England, any corner of the world it might be available. So for a copyright, it is absolutely it will be against the whole world. That is, it is universal by nature, whatever the duration is given. But again, we'll come to that slowly. But for other things, it is within the boundaries of India. So within the boundaries of India, your rights are territorial by nature. You can use it, but you can't forbid others from using it. But it is the same vice versa from their side also. Now, moving on to the next one, why IPR? Now, all of us have answered what is IPR. Now, we need to answer the next important question, why IPR? See, when I create anything, now we'll limit ourselves to books. We'll go to slowly patent and other things. Just we'll limit ourselves to books. Now, I have written a book. That's absolutely my creative world. How I bring it to you is absolutely a creative world. Whatever might be my thought, whatever might be my way of thinking, I brought it in a new creative way. When I bring it into this world, I don't want somebody's name to be there on that. Somebody shouldn't say this is mine as well. So that is why we are claiming that as a property right. Now, when I am adding all this, I want nobody to infringe on my right. So first thing, the first protection that you get in the intellectual property is you're protected. Look at the word used. The first protection that you get using an intellectual property of yours is you're protected against what? Against any infringement. So your property is protected, your creativity is protected, your knowledge is protected. You are asking others, do not use it. Now let's assume I have created a patent and I'm selling it. That is, I'm using it in the market because I'm manufacturing certain things. There, I need to get the incentive only to me. So whatever the economic benefit that I'm getting is only to me. So the second important thing that you're getting out of your protection of your intellectual right is incentive to the individuals for the new creation. See, usually what happens is there are things flooded in the market. I'll just give you an example, then you'll be able to understand. Long back, somebody brought in toothbrush into this world. We know not who it was. Initially, we were having that neem stick and all that. Then somebody brought in toothbrush for all of us. Then, if you see in the 90s, if any of you are there from 80s to 90s, if you know that, toothbrush itself, the design started changing. Somebody said, it bends and goes inside and brushes. I'm just talking about the toothbrush which we are using early in the morning. I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that for that you have got a patent or anything. I'm just giving an example. See the creativity that you got in that. They're saying that it brushes, it goes inside, it bends. Look at all the things that they brought in. Toothbrush is a toothbrush. Then they started saying hard brush. Then they started saying soft brush. The bristles do like this, and it goes inside and does all this work. Something like that. Take the example of the paste, the next one. Initially, they were saying that it's an ordinary neem paste or ordinary paste. Now, look at the word that is used. They use that it is got a traditional value. Take the example of Colgate. Traditional value, Vedic value. Now, you can imagine just for a toothbrush and the toothpaste, there are so many people flooding into the market, coming up with new ideas and saying ours is the best, theirs is not the best, and things like that. When a situation is like that, if suppose you have a patent or a copyright and the industrial design and all, but obviously you want it to be protected because you need to get that money and you are entitled for that protection. That is why when you're saying, why do I require this intellectual property right? The answer is your creation has to be protected and you alone for the specific period are entitled for the money. And the next is, suppose somebody is going to copy my patent or copy my copyright and things like that. What would happen is I would lose all hope in this world. That is why the first thing that as the inventor or as a creator, I want recognition. So the next thing is I want due recognition. See, take the example of a book. When you open the book, automatically the name of the authors are written there. Why is that written? Anybody can, in this world, aren't there people who write same book? No, it is not like that. I want due recognition. This book belongs to me and this is my creation. So similarly for other articles also, you'll have certain, so you require recognition. Otherwise, somebody might copy and say, this is mine as well. So that is why when you say that I want intellectual property rights, it's an inclusive thing. It says, first of all, you are protected against infringement. You get the incentive and you are given due recognition. That's very, very important because when we are recognized by 10 people or when the world keeps on saying this was invented by this person, for example, Alexander Graham Bell, we keep saying this person invented this person invented this. So when we keep uttering that name, it's a recognition that you're giving to all those great people. Because see, without a bulb, you would have most probably in the dark. On without the telephone, most probably we wouldn't be communicating with anybody. So for all this, that is the creator's mind. So you require that recognition from the world, which says that yes, this person did it. Maybe in the very primitive stage, it was a very different one, and it did not have all the technologies that we have today. But still, the initiation was done by them. Therefore, the recognition needs to be given to them. That is why we protect the intellectual property right. And the next one is, as I told you, it is related to your material reward. See, suppose I have produced something and I want to sell that license to somebody. Somebody will sell it, so that reward must come to me. So we ensure that by giving that right to you, your rewards only come to you. And not only that, by giving that product to the market, we are giving the genuine and the original product. See, I'll just give you an example, you will be able to understand. If you go to any local market, you would have seen the word, you would have seen the pen Renault. It's always white one initially when it started. Now it has taken different forms. White one with a blue cap, or red one completely red color. So green one complete red color. So from far away we could recognize that it's Renault pen. But of late, what started happening was, if you go to some local market, somewhere near the bus stand and all, there'll be a pen called Reynolds. If you take it and cleanly, neatly observe it closely, it will be written as Raynalds. It's not Reynolds. It's not original Reynolds. REY. It is not REY. It is RA. But from far, it looks similar. Now, what has happened there? The market is flooded with the artificial products. So to avoid all that, see, we are not worried about what's happening in the platform, what's happening in the sale that is happening in the platform. But this should not happen in the market as well. So wherever genuine products are there, because we go by brand. So wherever genuine products are there, original products are there, we say, yeah, this is Nike shoes. Yeah, this is that one. How do we say that? Because of the brand that they've created, Nokia phone. Because once you say Nokia, means I remember when Nokia phone was flooded in the market, we knew one thing, that even if it falls or you throw it from the third floor, nothing will happen. That was the image that they had created. Because that time, of course, we did not have the modern phone that we have, but still we knew that nothing would happen to the phone. It is endurable, it will work properly. Now, why all that thought came to our mind? Because we knew it is Nokia. Once we say Nokia, that means we are giving the original product. So suppose I say, I have a right over this property, only that I want the consumer to use, means I need to have this intellectual property right. The next one is, this is very important for our technological and our economic growth. See, nowadays everything is techno-oriented. Just take the example of Corona. After Corona came into the, after Corona, we were stuck by Corona. All of us knew that there is a need for communicating with these people on the other side. So many things. For the example, teachers, we started using so many things like Skype, Zoom, all this. What is all this? These are all technological developments. Otherwise, every other time we have to go to the class, we have to be there physically present, we have to take. But these kind of things slowly started coming down. We started using some Zoom, various other apps are there, so that we can communicate. Still, the world did not stop. Though physically it stopped, still the world did not stop. So for that, all these reasons, we need to have the techno-economic growth. When will I feel that my product is protected? Only when I feel that I'm getting the due recognition, my product is protected and all that, and I'm getting the proper material reward. That is the money. Money factor is very important. At that time only you can say that your intellectual property is protected, and we will have a technological growth. Suppose the country is not going to protect my creation, for example, then why would I give it to the market? I would use it only within my house. I would say let the others not get benefited by that, because I'm not going to get any benefit out of it, or I might not be able to sell it in the market like how certain companies do it. They have the funds, they do it. For that reason, if I'm going to know that they are not going to protect my property, I'll not even sell it to them. That knowledge also I'm not going to sell it to them. But here, because we know that it's my right, and if I sell it, I will get good chunk of money because of that, then only I'll be able to sell this technological growth. Take the example of laptops. I don't know how many of you remember, in the year 90s, there was a big debate between India and America. What was the problem between India and America? That time only they had laptops. Laptops those days were 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs. It went up to that level. But Americans were not ready to give laptops first. They were not ready. They were saying, okay, you want desktop, keep it, but laptops, no. Actually, India and America had a big fight. They said, come on, give us the technology. They said, no, this is our knowledge. We are not going to give it to you. We will give it to you only when we know that we are going to get good lot of money. The same thing we had the problem with the Windows also. I don't know how many of you remember. Bill Gates said Indians misuse Windows. Even now it is there in Google. You can check it. What is that? As a creator, he felt that he is not getting the proper reward or the material reward for himself. because his rights are not protected in India. This happened. We just go to Google and check. Bill Gates refused to give Windows. He said, no, I'm not going to share this software with India because so this software is misused by the Indians and I don't want to give to this. Now you can imagine as a creator what are his problems. Now I don't know, of course it comes under copyright, but he says that I don't want to share my knowledge with India. Now it is entirely different thing. But in the year 90s we had all this fight because this intellectual property right was not well developed then. Though of course it was to some extent, but not as much as we have today. So why should I have an IPR? Very simple. First is I want to be protected. I want to be recognized in the market. Whatever money that you're going to use by getting that, by selling it or whatever you're going to get the money, that has to come to me, or there must be some kind of a sharing between the company and these people, and it will definitely help the country. So when it is going to help the country and the people in total, I need to get that recognition. So that is why we require IPR. Very simple. Now, what are the different kinds of IPR? First is it has got patents, it has got copyright, it has got trademark, it has got geographical indication, it has got industrial design. Apart from this, of late few things have been added, but these are prominent ones. So first is patents, copyright, trademark, geographical indication, and the industrial design. So these are the types of intellectual property rights. Now please go to next slide. Now, what is your intellectual property right consist of? I know it sounds very boring because it sounds like you're sitting in a law class. You need to give me another space for one or two more slides to move on. Then only you'll be able to understand what exactly is all this. I'll go to each one of them in detail. As of now, it's a dry beginning. I understand, but still, this is how it goes on. Now, when you're talking about intellectual property, there are two distinct forms. One is the literary and the artistical work. The other one is industrial design. Now, what is this literary and artistical work? That consists of painting, music, drama, composition. Drama means your plays that you create, and your any radio or TV program. All this, your books, all this consists of literary work, literary and the artistical work. All these are protected under copyright. So specific, all this come under copyright. If you have a play, if you have a music composed and all that, it comes under artistical work, and all that is protected by your copyright. Moving on to the next one, industrial property. As I told you, your intellectual property is divided into two. One is the literary and artistical work. The other one is the industrial property. Now, what is this industrial property? Anything which describes the physical matter, that is the product of an idea or a concept for commercial purpose. We will leave it to that. We'll come back again to understand what exactly it means. Say anything that you have used for your commercial purpose. We'll leave it there. Or any of your idea which will become a product. Now, under which of the themes it is protected? It is protected under patents, trademark, industrial design, trade secret, layout design, and geographical design. Under all this, that one is protected. We'll come back to that because this explanation, I'm very sure it looks very definition type and you'll be little confused. As we move on to that one, I will come to that again and explain that sure. Now, the first thing we'll take is what is the patent? Any invention is a patent. Very simple. If anybody asks you what is a patent, please do not get confused with copyright. Patent is invention. Patent is equal to invention. Just put it in the give that as an answer. That's the end of it. You don't have to worry. Now, your invention can be a product invention or a process invention. That's too much technical into the details. I'll go very slowly into that. Or when I'm explaining the other one, you'll be able to understand. So, patent means it is just the invention. Now, when can you say something is an invention? Because you cannot say everything is an invention. Under law, you have to define what is an invention. Law clearly says trickle down, trickle down, trickle down, and tell me what exactly is this. So when I say patent means invention, not everything is considered as an invention. Now, what are inventions are very clearly described. Something which is new. These three characteristics must be there for a invention to be considered as an invention to acquire the patent. Invention to be considered as an invention to acquire the patent. The first one is it should be new. That is, it should be new to this world. It should be useful. It should be non-obvious. Now, new. I will give one example. Now, let us assume today only we are manufacturing we have invented a fridge today. Before this, none of us knew fridge. So, first one is today we have invented a fridge. We have created it. We have created it with our knowledge. So, that's a new one. Isn't it useful? Absolutely useful. Non-obvious. Non-obvious means nobody should come to the patent office or the patent officer shouldn't feel, obviously, we knew this. If somebody has already done it in a different form, then it is not considered to be an invention to be patentable. I hope I'm clear. Something must be new. Take the example of a fridge, only invented today or somebody created out of its knowledge. Invented today, is it useful? Yes. And today only people should see it as a new thing. Or take the example of a laptop or a computer, whatever it is, only today the world must have seen it. And they shouldn't say, no, no, yeah, I knew, obvious. No, if they are going to use the word, obviously we knew it, then it is not considered to be a patent or an invention to be patentable. So it must be new, useful, non-obvious to the society. And in the very first slide, I told you it is duration specific. That means whenever you file the application for your patent from that date for 20 long years, your patent is protected. That's why I told you when I was talking about duration, I told you it is monopolistic as well as not perpetual as well as not monopolistic. I remember using the same sentence when I was reading the first slide because I told you you use it as a monopoly for 20 years. After 20 years, that becomes the property of the world. After that, you don't have any right over that. That means for the 20 long period years, if there is an infringement of your right, obviously you get the remedies. What it is? In the last slide, I will tell you. That's why I told you we need to speak about infringement. For the 20 long years when you're using it and you are the absolute owner of it, nobody can take away your right. And whatever is the money, material reward that you're going to get it in your name. And whatever the protection you're getting, you get it, and you can go to the court saying that this person has used this without my permission. So patent means invention, new, useful, non-obvious for 20 long years it is protected. Now when I say 20 long years, as I told you, it is from the date of filing of the application. The date I filed the application. Suppose I go on January 1st and 2023 and file the application, from that day for 20 long years it will be protected. Now they have used the next sentence, priority is first to file. Now what is this first to file? Now let us assume I invented a computer here somewhere in Bangalore. Somebody has got the same mind. They might have the same mind, one who is doing it in Delhi. There is somebody, maybe it is not as similar as mine is, but the job that it is doing is similar. And so somebody has done it in Delhi. Now he goes on 31st December to file it. I go on 1st to file it. He gets the right. Very simple. It might be doing the same thing. Maybe it is not called computer. It is called computer by me in Bangalore. It is called some other name by somebody in Delhi, but it is doing the same job. It is doing, like for example, calculator, something like that. It is doing the same job, calculating, bringing out all this material, internet, whatever it is today. Let's assume somebody is doing it. He has filed the application on 31st of December. I file it on 1st of January. He gets the priority, right? So duration is 20 years from the date of filing. Then he has filed it. He has filed it in Delhi. Delhi office he has filed. I have filed it in Bangalore. Now let's assume in Delhi he files it at 10 o'clock on 31st. I file it here in Bangalore on 1 o'clock, 31st December. Still he gets the priority. That's why I told you the priority is the one who is going to first file the application. Now after that, after you get the patent, for the first 1 or 2 years, you don't have to pay any renewal fees. After that, you may have to keep paying your renewal fees. Suppose you don't pay the renewal fees, that is from third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, seventh year, up to 20 years, you're supposed to pay the renewal fees to the patent office to say that, yes, I am the patent holder. Suppose you don't pay, your patent will lapse. So for the 20 years, you have the exclusive legal right. I've used it in the first slide, exclusive legal right, and that right is being protected by the law, and it is more like a monopoly for that only 20 years. That is, it is duration specific. For the 20 years, it is your right, and you have absolute right over it. And after 20 years, it becomes a right to the world. The world can use it. They can take your product or your process, and they can use it. So for the 20 long years, you are the complete absolute owner. Now, and remember, patent is not a universal right. I remember having said the same thing again. Only your copyright is a universal right, not your patent. That is, it is applicable. It comes only under the Indian law. Your patent is applicable only within the Indian boundary, not to any other country. It's the same. You have to file. You want to file a patent in some other country, you have to go there and file it again. So your patent is not a universal right. I hope I'm clear. I'm going slow as well as I'm clear. If you feel that somewhere I am going a little fast or something like that, please do stop me. I think ma'am will help me in doing that. Please do stop me. Now, what are the examples of patents? It is very easy to see now. Bulb. Thomas Alva Edison created it in the year 1878 and he got the patent over it. Now you can see it's an invention. It's for a product. Very easy to remember now. Patent is an invention for a product. Telephone, invented by Alexander Graham Bell, 1876, he got the patent. Computer, John McCulley and Prosper Eki, that's the name that is given. They got it. And your Bluetooth, all this got the patent. So these are few examples of your patent. So patent means invention, new, non-obvious, it should be useful, and for 20 years only, not a universal right. Very simple to remember. Only these 4 points, you are a master in it. Now, let's move on to the next one. Now, the next one is your trademark. Very, very simple and one second. Next one is your trademark. Now, what is this trademark? Anything which is a visual symbol, like a word, name, logo, label, monogram. It can be for a manufacturing product or for a service. Anything. It can be for goods or as well as for your services. That is called as a trademark. Now, if I please go to the next slide so that you'll be able to understand trademark, and then we'll come back to the previous slide. Now, these are the example of your trademark. Maggie, Nike, Apple, Coca-Cola, Adidas, McDonald's. Here, look at it. The name as well as the symbol is more than enough for you to understand that it's a trademark. One tick, more than enough to say that it's a Nike. Not an ordinary tick, it has got one pattern. If you type like that, Nike. Suppose Apple, one cut on the other end. If it is just a cut Apple, all of us know what it is. Coca-Cola, Adidas. We don't have to go and tell everybody in the world what it is. Just these names and these logos or the symbols are more than enough for us to understand. Suppose I show you from far, I told you, Renault, white and blue cap. It became a trend. Though it might be now, nowadays you get good lot of other products, 2 rupees pen also you get on the street, you don't understand. But when Renault entered the market, all of us, especially we were in the college at that point of time, Renault was a rage. Having Renault was a big thing for us. It was like having a Hero pen, Schaefer pen. It was like having all those pen in your hand. Schaefer, I think you all know. A pen on the cap, you have a dot. That is Schaefer pen. From far, if you've used Schaefer pen, you'll know that on the cap, you have a single dot in that cap. That is called as a Schaefer pen. And there are other pens as well. From far itself, we can recognize all of them. So these are examples of trademark. From far, if you've been using the product again and again, from far you will know. Just take the example of Pond's, which was very, very famous at that time. It was a white bottle. On that, flowers were there, pink color flowers. From far, people see nowadays Pond's does not have much of a value. It's got into a lot of problems, but still Pond's does not have much of a value. You are flooded with other products. So those days, there is a bottle which has got the pink color floral thing design on that. It's Pond's. We could recognize from far. Woodward's bright water. So like that, various products. You should be able to remember them with their symbols or their logos. Now please go to the previous slide, ma'am. The name itself is enough. The logo is enough. The label is enough. So it can be for a goods or for any of the services that is going to be provided. So these are the example of trademark. Now for how long the trademark is protected? It's valid for 10 long years. See, it will be written TM. It will be written on the corner. Suppose you have a product. So take the example of Maggie, Nike or all that. On the corner, there will be a small circle and in that it will be written as TM. Suppose it's for a service, like for example, hospital and various things, it will be written as SN, service mark. These are TM, that will be SN. It's valid for 10 years and it can be renewed further for 10 long years. Remember, it is in connection with the marketing of the goods and service. Now, there might be people who ask, why should I have a trademark? Patent means I understand this is exactly for your invention. But when you're asking for trademark, why should I have a trademark? Because these are, if I show that symbol, people will come to know. If you say that here, more than the protection of the inventor and all, more than the protection of the idea and all that, it's meant for servicing of your goods. Remember, it's for marketing of your goods. Very important. See, there are certain people who say, I go by brand. See, I saw, being a woman, I saw a sari in one place. The same sari that was available for 400 or 500 rupees, the same sari available in Soch was entirely a different rate. It was an entirely a different rate. They said our product is different because we come with a brand. You can imagine the same saree. Suppose you go and ask them, I saw the same market for same saree for 500 rupees. They will say, no, this is a different brand altogether. You bring it, we'll exchange it. These are the things that we give. So the brand name is very, very important for them. They protect it. See, recently I was seeing a video on YouTube. They said how much of one product costs in Amazon. The same product, how much it costs in Meesho. There is another app called as Meesho, created by two IT students. The same product, almost slightly different color, the chudidar or the sarees or something like that. I was seeing a video on YouTube. They said that this is an entirely different brand. Once we show the color, we give you the color. But Meesho, yeah, slightly it was a dull color. Suppose they say violet, it's a slightly dull compared to Amazon. But there the price is entirely different. Suppose these people have some 1,000 rupees, then you get it for 400 or 500. But these people say no, 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 no. This is not the same because our trademark is very important because we are using it for marketing our product. See, I don't know whether many of you remember, there was one movie of this Madhuri Dixit. She comes from the staircase dancing with the Salman Khan. It became a very big, it was Hum Aapke Hai Kaun. In the movie, that lady was wearing that violet color sari. Please go and watch that. That sari became a rage. That sari, everybody wanted to wear that violet sari because everybody thought they looked like Madhuri Dixit. Then one particular company, they started selling that. And there were fake products also available. This was in the year 90s. There was same violet sari available in the market also. They were selling it at that time I'm talking about. 90s, they were selling it for 500, 600, 700. The same product was available for 100 and 200. But nobody accepted that. Because they said this doesn't have that marketing quality. Not that level. So here, your trademark gives you the marketing value. More than anything else, it's the marketing value. Therefore, your trademark needs to be protected. Now let's move on to the next slide, copyright. Very simple, I told you, anything which is artistical, literary, musical, dramatic fiction, but here it is a proprietary right. You are complete, the names are different, that's all. Everything comes under intellectual property only. Here it is a proprietary right, more like a proprietary art. And here it is granted for the expression of the idea, not for the idea. Because the next slide now. Many people, I'm talking about copyright. Copyright means anything that is given for your artistic, literary, music, drama. As I told you, you have the same right. It is an intellectual property right only. But here they have also added one more word that it is more like a proprietary right. But remember, here the rights are given for your expression of the idea and not for an idea. See, suppose I say I have created a drama. I have a drama script example. Now the script must be there in your hand to say that this is mine and for which I am claiming the right, copyright. Simply you cannot say everything was there inside my brain, this fellow copied it. Nobody is going to accept it. Suppose you say you must express your idea, bring it in the form of a drama, bring it in the form of a cinema, bring it in the form of a any artistical work, bring it in the form of a book, article, whatever it is, you must bring it in some particular format. Then only you get that right. You cannot say the same thing only I also wanted to say, but everything is inside my brain, this fellow copied it. Nobody is going to accept that. Or let us assume, just an example. I'm sorry to say this. Many of them have done it, but I don't want to name anybody. But this is there in the Google if you go and check. See, sometimes I would have written an article. The same article it will be there in the Google in my name also. It will be there in somebody's name also. There, if something like that happens, you can claim your right by saying that on which date you publish, on which date they publish, please see it. This has happened. I saw it with my own eyes. One of my articles was there in somebody's name. But because I have the date and I don't want to claim it, I just left it. But this happens. So when you're saying that, you shouldn't say it was in the form of an idea. Suppose let us assume I've made a script of it and kept it in my hand. Somebody has stolen it. Nothing can be done. That's why they say, please store it carefully. If it is your idea, please store it carefully. Don't share it with everybody on the earth. Suppose you want to claim it as a property right. Then don't show it to everybody on the right. Once you get the copyright, what is that copyright? If you go to every book and check on it, there'll be a big circle on that. Inside that will be a small C written. That means it is your copyright. I already told you. For trademark, if it is a product, TM will be written. If it is a service, SM will be written. If it is a copyright, one small C will be written inside a circle. Please check that. In all the books it will be there. That means to say that it has been copyrighted. Some year also will be given. That it is being published on this year, ISBN number, ISSN number, and all that will be given. Now, what is not covered by a copyright? I told you, something in the form of an idea will not be covered. You cannot say it was inside my brain. I wanted to express by then, that's all I expressed it. No, nobody is going to protect it. Priority. You should go register it, then alone you get it. And facts will not be given the right as a copyright. You cannot claim it as a right. Something that happened, that transpired, that's a fact. You cannot claim copyright for that. Receipts. Why I cannot claim copyright for receipts? Then they will say, don't use it for so many years. I am the sole owner. Give me the money. No, that is not allowed. So if you are creating some kind of a receipt, for that, copyright will not be given. Let everybody use it. Suppose you are creating some kind of a dal tadka, let everybody use dal tadka. That is allowed. See, actually, in the year 4th BC, there was a king, Zeus. His name is Zeus. He gave copyright for making of a fish in particular fashion. That is now stopped, though it was not called as a copyright at that point of time. It was some kind of a grant that was given by the king, but that time it was given. But nowadays, it's not given for receipt. But it is there. It is there in the book. You can cross-check it. His name was Zeus, 4th century. That time he gave in particular way for a fish to be cooked. So that way it was done. Then works which are lacking originality, like for example your phone book. For all that your copyright will not be given. Names, titles, short phrases, for all this will not be given. Like for example, you cannot say Jai Lakshmi is my copyright. No, that's my name. That's all. For that, if they give a copyright, then others will not be able to give the same. So for names, it is not given. So then apart from this, they say that copyright is also a right related to where you don't copy, where you don't reproduce somebody's work, fixing, translating, adapting, communicating. These are all protected. Now, what is the duration? I made a typographical error there. The next slide, please. I made a typographical error. I said author's life plus 50 years. It was 60 years. I apologize for that. Author's life plus 60 years from the end of the calendar year. That is from the date when the author dies. From that day, for 60 years, your copyright will be protected. That is how it is calculated. Means see the third one that I've used. Copyright protection always expires on December 31st. Now on January 1st, 2023 itself, I might be dead and gone. But I have the copyright till December 31st, 2023. So my copyright will be there up to that day. From there, plus 60 years till the end of the calendar year. That is that 60 years, my writing or my artistical work, all that I broadly classified under the copyright, that will be protected. So it is author's life. That is whenever I got the copyright. Now let us assume at the age of 22, I got a copyright. Now up to 50, I am alive. From 22 to 50, that is my author's life. So till then, my copyright is there. And the day I die, that is that year must lapse. That year plus from there 60 years. Till then, the copyright is protected. I hope I'm clear. 22 I got, up to 50 means that the 25 I got, let's assume, so that I'm bad in mathematics. So for the 25 long years, plus on 25th year, let us assume I die on January, not bother. The copyright office will not be bothered. Do you only one day? No, cancel it. No, this full year I enjoy the copyright, plus from this day to 60 years. Typographical error again, it's 60 years, not 50 years. Now, as I told you, examples of copyright, the next slide, ma'am, please. These can be copyrighted. That is your literary work, whatever you write, your music. You must be knowing Ilayaraja said that, my things are copyrighted. For somebody from Tamil Nadu, so he told SPB, don't sing without my permission. You have to give me more money, blah, blah, and all went on. Then artistical work. Beautiful example is Tom and Jerry only. So that's why I picked up that one. Then dramatical work, any of your drama work, anything that you have recorded, all that becomes your copyright. Now, let's move on to the next one. Very simple, geographical indication. Now, when I'm talking about geographical indication, again, I will just give an example of this. I'll go to the next one and then come back to this one. Geographical indication is nothing but a name or a sign used on certain products which correspond to a specific geographical, local, or origin. Just leave it there. I'll explain that and come back to it. See, what is geographical indication? Something that a peculiar product is available in one particular place, for that you get a GI. Now, for example, Kolhapur chappal. Kolhapur chappal, you get a GI. Tirupati Ladu, you get a GI. Pattamada Pai, you get a GI. Like that, Mysuru Jasmine, you get a GI. BT leaf, where it belongs to, you get for that. Basmati rice, you get for that. Now, this question did come in my mind. I hope it comes in your mind also. Now, one thing I'm saying is basmati rice. That is the flavor of the soil. That is, the soil has got that particular flavor in Punjab. Because of that, the rice grows in that particular pattern. It is not like our ordinary Sona Masuri. Sona Masuri will be small in size. Basmati rice will be big in size, and you have certain pattern of making food also. That is, Sona Masuri, take it, put it into the cooker, automatically it becomes rice. But your basmati rice, you need to soak it like that. It has got certain characteristics. Now, there, if you say, I can very clearly say geographical indication. Now, what is my big question is, geographical indication is because it has got the soil. The soil is special. That is why we get it. Now, the next question, the question that comes to my mind is, can't we make Tirupati Ladu anywhere else? Can't we have the Kolhapur Chappal anywhere else? Yes, we can. We can make Tirupati Ladu. If the expert who is making Tirupati Ladu can come to Bangalore and make Tirupati Ladu for me, it will have the same taste. So the person who is making Kolhapur Chappal can come to Bangalore and make the Kolhapur Chappal for me. Definitely, it will have the same look. It's not going to change. Then why did I give geographical indication? The answer is given in the next two things that I've written. When I say geographical indication, it identifies agriculture. Now look at it very clearly given. Agriculture. That means basmati rice. So in that particular area, the agricultural method or the soil aroma, whatever the soil has got the special quality, that aroma is changed into that rice. Like for example, Nilgiri Saila. Nilgiri is available only in Nilgiri, nowhere else. Assam chai. Assam chai is available. Agriculture. Basmati rice. These are classical examples. Then that which is natural, something that comes naturally. So somewhere else also it may have, but still it has got something extra. For example, through agriculture we don't get jasmine. For example, Mysore jasmine, Mysore beetle. For all this you get, or it can include the manufactured product. I think I've answered your question. That is there in your mind when you say geographical indication. It does not include only the agriculture. Anything that is naturally created or anything that is a manufactured goods. For example, as I told you, it can be a Kolhapur chappal that is manufactured. Yes, if that fellow comes and manufactures it here also, it will be the same. But still, because it was specifically done in that area, we have started recognizing them. It is fixed to that territory. So that is why we are recognizing all the three. That is, it identifies the agriculture or one which might have come naturally also, not one which is grown. Like for example, as I told you, right? And then one which is a manufactured one. And remember, when I give a GI, it must possess certain special quality. Something special is there. We don't know what is that special. Something special is there. Or it has got that particular reputation. The minute we see the chappal, we know this looks like a Kolhapur chappal. It might be manufactured anywhere else also. But I'm sorry about that. Yeah. We immediately say, got that reputation. We say Kolhapur chappal. We say so many things. We fix that name to that. Channapatna toy. That same wooden toys can be manufactured anyway, but still we say Channapatna toy. Like that when we use it, so here it says it must have a special quality, or special quality means it can go for that agriculture, or it might have the reputation. Some reputation is attached to that. As I told you, Channapatna toy, Kolar couples, like that one name is added to that. So it has got some reputation on that. That is why it became special. Now, just an example. All these, Kolhapur, this Dharwad Peda. Dharwad Peda is actually manufactured it is actually being baked by one particular family. They do it. I went and saw that place itself. It's a very small place. You go inside Dharwad, near bus stand, you have to walk inside. And once you go there, the whole family, that is one particular family is only doing it. Like how you have this Hyderabad, that fish medicine, somebody gives a fish medicine. In Hyderabad, they are famous for it. That is, they give it for that asthma. They give that fish medicine and they give if you say that I'm a vegetarian, they give you inside a banana. Like that one family has got that particular name. I went there and saw it was a very small house. That it might be some 15 by 100 or 120 the houses. And the whole family is manufacturing that and they have that name, Dabar Peda. There are so many Peda shops available there. I saw that. If you go to the next shop also, if you say I want original one, people only will direct you. Go there. They are the original one. And there were many articles also which was carried on in the newspapers. That is, the family have been doing it for more than 100 plus years. So like the Dharwad Peda, Tirupati Ladu and all the shells, all that is available. So these are examples of geographical indication. As I told you, it can be through agriculture. And the next slide, please. It can be through agriculture, manufactured goods. As I told you, all this come under geographical indication. Now the next one. The next we move on to industrial design. Before I go on to this, I will give you a classic example. I had a friend of mine who got some outsource from this Orlex people. This Orlex company is there. They told him to manufacture the lids for the Orlex bottle. Now what the company told us, I was also surprised to hear it from him. He was telling me, you know how it is manufactured, how it is made. When you are manufacturing it, they tell you the radius must be this much. From right to left, it must be this much. From left to right, it must be this much. In the middle, you should have all like X should be some centimeter. O should be of this centimeter. R and all should be this centimeter, and it should be in this font only. You cannot have one or in one pattern and all is not allowed. And in the side, the bottle lid. In the side, you have something like a grain. That is to hold it tight. Suppose it is plain, no, you will not be able to open the bottle. So in the side, we have something like grains. They made it. They gave the specification for the grains also. It means, they said it should be so much, and only this thickness. If you see the bottles, you'll be able to understand. Please go and check the bottles which have that. They were so specific in it. Now I was astonished and I was asking what they want to do with all this. They said no, this is what Horlicks company wants. So now you can imagine for a bottle lid, just a bottle lid, they spend so much of time. Now that's the design that they particularly want. If they say this I want, this alone I want. Take the example of one of the examples that I was seeing is I was surprised. Cycle. Today cycle means everybody's a cycle. Huh? You're not well, is it? Are you having sugar? That is why you're going for cycling. It has become so only a man who goes for all this race and all, you use the cycle very often. Other cycling means we say cycle, is it? You're not well, is it? Something like that we ask. But when I was reading about industrial design, I was so surprised. For cycle also, they were giving out so many things like how a cycle should be. That is why when you're talking about industrial design, look at the words used, the shape, the aesthetic feature, very, very important. Many a times, we go with the aesthetic feature, configurations, the surface pattern of an article, all this comes under industrial design. Many of times, we are attracted with certain way they bring it out. Some colorful thing or something that is there so special in it, we simply go and buy that because we like that. So your aesthetic feature is very, very important. All that kind of a thing which is being done by somebody's creation is protected under your industrial design. There, the author has very beautifully put the examples. I was reading it, I copied from that on this. He said the front, the back, the left, the right view, top view, bottom view, and isometric view. All this, and look at it, anything which is appealing to the eye. Very, very important. When you're selling a product, you need to have a product which is very appealing to the eyes. I remember once I was telling somebody that this Atta, this Ashirvad Atta. The advertisement for that Ashirvad Atta was that one small toy who comes there and when you're looking in the TV, that Atta boy comes and stands there. And that is, he goes to the packet and stands there, and that becomes like a symbol. I was saying that in case if they would have sold that small toy with every packet of Atta, even I would have gone and purchased 4 or 5 Atta. Definitely, I would have done it. Take the example of your calcium sanders. Calcium sanders, initially I had one Mickey Mouse type of a thing that was there. That was very appealing. Calcium sanders means that I still have that, but not the Mickey Mouse, the lion that was there. That old box had the lion. When they came out with this calcium sanders for women, 40 plus, they came out with this women look calcium sanders bottle. Now look at it, very appealing to our eyes. We feel like immediately purchasing one. I remember when that lion thing was there in the bottle, many people purchased it just because they wanted to have one of that. I'm happy to have 1 or 2 calcium cans, that's okay, but I won't have that lion in my house. 1 or 2 small boxes were available. So all these, this goes into the shape, and very important because when you want to market a product, something which appeals to the person you need to, especially take the example of all these kids, something very appealing only they'll buy. I still remember that long back, we used to get biscuits. Those biscuits, it had the sparrow. Yeah, it like that. Many things were available. Sparrow was available. Then butterfly was available. That biscuit had all the combination of all that. That time, we felt that we need to have that biscuit. We are not bothered about the biscuit, but we were very happy to have one sparrow. We were eating one sparrow. We are eating one butterfly. Like that, many things were there. Very appealing to our eyes. Especially kids get attracted to it. So your industrial design is very important. I'm just talking about all the things, though they don't come under industrial design, but I'm saying that something you want to make it very, you want somebody to purchase it, you have to make everything very beautiful, appealing to guys, so then only able to purchase it. Now the example of industrial design I've given here. See the bottles, the various types of bottles that is, ma'am, the next slide please. See the various types of bottles that is available. Sometimes, we just go and buy certain things for bottles. The other day I was seeing one advertisement, I think so, for that Mac Dowell or something. It's a drink. The bottle, like a man like taste, it was there. I was saying, at least somebody gives me a gift of this bottle, it will look nice because we can decorate it outside with one painting or something like that. Look at the way we get attracted to that. So your industrial design is very important. All this, sometimes we like certain chair, we like certain designs. I remember, given one example of a laptop here. I remember Kareena Kapoor used to come for one laptop advertisement just 3 or 4 years ago. There, she used to say that, each time your slide or something above that can be changed, some colors, some blue color, red color. And she used to say, according to my lipstick, something like that she used to do. I remember, you can change that above one, the one laptop on the screen, and above that you have one plate like they give you, and you can keep on changing it. So I still remember that advertisement daily by Kareena Kapoor. So when you say your industrial design, all these matters, though your laptop, all the laptop is going to do the same, but you get fascinated by certain looks. That chair, that's a beautiful example there. Many people like a particular kind of a chair. Your bikes, especially the youngsters, they nowadays, I don't know, there are two types of bikes. One bike is on which you sleep and drive. I've seen many youngsters sleeping on that and riding. They just go like this. There's another kind of a bike. The person is sitting and the pillion lighter is above him, from 4 or 5 foot above him. Now you can imagine the youngsters like the girlfriend will be above him, sitting at the back, and the chair is elevated. So these are all industrial design, and people get fascinated. Of course, youngsters do get fascinated, so that needs to be protected. Then moving on to the next slide. But in one of the cases, that is in Philip versus Mal Curie, I'm very sorry, that comes to infringement. Now, when I'm talking about all the rights, I was very clear in saying at the very beginning that it needs to be protected. That is, nobody should infringe on my rights. Now, what happens when somebody infringes on your rights? That is the remedy that all of us ask the question on. Very simple, anything that is used again without your permission. Anything that is reproduced, used, distributed, performed, etc., without your permission becomes an infringement. First. Second, now what happens when there is an infringement? I want injunction. Injunction means immediately stopping the other party from using it or reproducing it, distributing it, performing it. Stop. Wherever it is, stop. You have not taken my permission, stop. That's an injunction. Injunction means stop. That's all. Very simple. In local language, stop. Do not continue further without my permission. Status quo, as is, there is, condition, if I go by law language. Then, sometimes it is just injunction, and for what you have used, without my permission, you used it and you made money out of it. For that, the damages will be taken. Here, in law, damages means you are claiming some kind of a remedy from them in the form of a money. That is, you are claiming some form of a money from them. That is, you are saying, you have used it without my permission. Suppose you have used it for so long years, please do give me my money or pay me the compensation. It can be anything. The court decides that. It can be compensation, or they can say that, yes, you have used it for so long, you have made money out of it, give me this. Now, for each one, we'll see, I will wind up very fast. Patent, they can give injunction and award damages. Look at the word used. And it can be both. They can stop you from using it, that's because it's an invention. And again, take the damages. That is, they can ask for the money from you. Trademark, punishment extends to 6 months to 3 years because you have used their mark without their permission. Now remember what I was talking about trademark. It is used for your product. The brand name matters. The Maggie, McDonald, all that I was talking about. And they can ask you to permanently stop using it. They can permanently ban you from using it without their permission. And you'll be inside the jail for 6 months to 3 years. It can be 6 months. Anything as the judge feels better. Suppose he says you have misused it and you are absolutely using it for many years, so it can go up to 3 years. Then the copyright, as I told you, again it's for 3 years, and there can be again a punishment. I left out 2. I'm very sorry on that. For a geographical indication, what is the punishment? The punishment is 6 months to 3 years, and they can levy a fine of up to rupees 50,000, 5,000, and it can go up to 2 lakhs. For geographical indication, it is 6 months to 3 years. You can be put behind the bar. Plus, you have to pay a fine of rupees 5,000, and it can go up to rupees 2 lakhs. And the next one is designs. For design, suppose there is an infringement of your right, it can go up to 25,000, and it can go only up to 50,000, not beyond. Yes, sir. Sir, I'll come back to you. Just give me 1 more minute. Yeah. Now, the next slide, please. In this next slide, But in Phoenix versus Malcury case, Lord Walker said that don't say that your IP, your intellectual property, includes only trademark. It started encompassing many things. Now it has got trademark, patents, copyright, industrial design, layout design of the integrated circuit. Layout design means not the layout that we have in Bangalore. Layout design of the integrated circuit, geographical indication, land varieties, information technology and cybercrime, and data protection has also been included now. But the law is growing because it keeps on encompassing many things. We have people who keep on infringing on our right, and we may have to go to court. And again, the court will have to sit and say, because initially it was only these three: trademark, copyright, and patent. Now it includes various other things, but in this case, the law was very clear. He said it includes many other things. So we leave it at that. We will not go beyond that in law. The last one, the last part is, what are the laws? The next slide, ma'am. What are the laws that is related to your intellectual property? You have the Trademark Right, Patent Act 1970 was amended in 2005, Copyright Act 1957, Design Act 2000, I think it's 2000, the Geographical Indication Act 1999, Semiconductor Integrated Circuit Layout Design Act 2000, Plant Varieties and Farmers Guide 2001, and the IPR 2000. So these are the law that is available. I think I will stop at that. Thank you so much for your patient hearing. On the next slide. And if you have any question and answer, please do ask. Yeah, ma'am, you can just leave that. I'll come. Yeah. Ma'am, you can skip that. You can go to the previous slide. Yes. Yes. Any questions? I'm ready to take it, please. Sir, you had a question.